So now let's do problem number 10. Please follow along as I read the problem. The problem says Kyle lives at one end of Main Street and Brandon lives at the other end of the street. Main Street is 6 2/2 kilometers long. Kyle walks 3 9/10 kilometers toward Brandon's house. How many more meters must Kyle walk to arrive at Brandon's house? So automatically, that word meters is jumping out at me. It's bolded and it's underlined. It's an important word. Why? Because when I close read and I go back and I think about the problem, I can see that my unit changed. My numbers that are given to me are in kilometers, and they want my answer in meters. So I have to remember to give them the answer that they want. So I'm going to write my sentence. So I wrote my sentence out. Kyle must walk meters to get to Brandon's. Notice that I made sure I'm going to remember that I need to have my answer in meters. I put it in big capital letters and underlined it so I won't forget. It's very easy to get working on a problem and then forget one of those details like that. So it's important to find ways to help you to remember. So this problem, great picture. It's a great picture because I can think about Kyle's house being here. I'm going to label it with a K. And here's Main Street. And at the other end of Main Street is Brandon's house. And now I can start labeling it with the numbers that I know. I can go back, reread the problem, close read, and find the numbers. I can find that between Kyle and Brandon's house, it is 6 2/2 kilometers. So I labeled the whole distance between the two boys' houses. And I know that Kyle has walked part of it. So I'm going to say that Kyle walked to about here. And I'm going to label it with that distance. And when I go back and I look at the problem, I see that he walked 3 9/10 kilometers. And I need to know this distance here. I'm going to put a question mark. So, looking at my problem, if I didn't know it already, I can see that I have the whole and I'm missing a part. So I need to take my whole, 6 2/2, and subtract the part that I know to find the part that I'm missing. So remember, when we are adding and subtracting decimals, it's important to line the decimal point up. The way I like to do it is I put my decimal point, I line it up first. I copy what's in front, and then I copy what's after. And I notice that I have an empty place, so I'm going to add that 0 placeholder. So now I'm set. Now I can subtract. So when I subtract, I am going to get 2 12/100. Notice that I brought down my decimal point because that's the rule. I'm going to line it up and I'm just going to bring it down into my answer. That's for adding and subtracting. Multiplying and dividing are different. So now I know that this is 2 12/100 kilometers. But remember, I wanted meters. Meters! So I need to know how to convert kilometers to meters. So I'm going to look at my conversion rate. Kilometers equals 1,000 meters. So I am going, because I have kilometers, notice I'm going to line it up so that I have kilometers on the same side of the equal sign, and I need to find meters. So when I look at that, to go from 1 kilometer to meters, I'm going to multiply by 1,000. So that means I need to multiply by 1,000 down here. Very easy. I have a power of 10. 1,000 is 10 to the 3rd power. So I know that I can take my 2 12/100, and if I multiply it by 1,000, I see 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I need to move my decimal point 3 place values. 1, 2, 3. I multiplied by 1,000, so I want to make sure that my number is going to be bigger than 1,000. And if I move my decimal point from here to here, I would end up with 2,120, which definitely is bigger than, I have a number that's bigger than what I started with. So I now have my answer. Kyle must walk 2,120 meters to get to Brandon's.